Employees of Walmart, what is the weirdest thing you've ever seen at work? A few years back, I worked at Walmart as an assistant manager. I was working a 12p 10p shift and the overnight manager called off sick. So I stayed until 4 am so somebody working mornings could come in early and we could have it covered. Anyway, it was February in northern Illinois. The temp outside at 2 am was about 6 degrees. At about 2:30, I get a call over the walkie-talkie to come up to the pharmacy and that you've got to see this. I went up to pharmacy and see two younger guys. One was dressed in a lifeguard's outfit complete with a thick coating of sunscreen on his nose. The other one was dressed in a complete walrus costume. I half followed these guys through the store to make sure that they weren't going to do something stupid like pull fire alarms, etc. and caught up with what everybody was doing stocking shelves. I lost contact with them because they weren't bothering anybody and just went about my business. About a half hour later, I made my way up to the front registers and asked the cashier if she had seen the lifeguard and the walrus. She said that not only did she see them, but they made a purchase. The lifeguard found some sunscreen in the clearance aisle, and the walrus got a pack of salmon from the seafood department. They paid with cash and went on their way. I like this one the most. No one shoots or is high on the mess or has sad dirty children. This one time while working in electronics, this dude came up to one of my co-workers and said he cut himself on one of the displays and that he needed medical attention. We threw a crappy off-brand band-aid on his cut and sent him on his way. See, Walmart employee. A couple hours later I noticed something wedged in between two of the displays and I pulled it out. It was an empty prepaid phone case with a large slit down the side of the plastic mold and a blood stain on the exposed cardboard packaging. Turns out the guy had cut his hand open while trying to steal one of our phones and had the audacity to ask us for help. My favorite was the guy who came in and said I lost the remote so I need a new TV. I asked him if the TV was broken. It wasn't. He just lost the remote and didn't want to bother finding it, so he wanted a new TV. I showed him our selection of universal remotes. He responded with but then I'd have to program it. The new TV comes with a pre-programmed remote. So I sold the guy a 50-inch TV. I admire this guy's supreme laziness. Found a woman passed out naked in sporting goods about 2 am while working nights. We had no idea how no one noticed her because we found articles of her clothing all over the store, including in the back storage area. Called police and ambulance. She was very drugged and was unable to communicate at all. She was obviously in a fugue state. Former Walmart employee. Hope that counts. Not nearly as weird as some of these, but I watched a disgruntled employee spear 5-6 large TVs with the forklift like picker used to pull pallets off the top shelves in the back. He said he was sick of the job and had done everything he could think of to get fired, but wasn't having any luck. It was near Christmas, and they apparently needed people so badly he didn't get fired over this either. After coming back from a talk with the manager, he finished his shift, now banned from using anything bigger than a pallet jack. And when his shift was over he said frick it, I'm not coming back. If that didn't get me fired I don't know what will. I worked as a third shift stock boy for Walmart throughout college. One of the most interesting jobs I have ever had. One of my favorite stories was one night about 3 am a bunch of kids came in wearing bandanas and riding adult-sized big wheels about as fast as they could. They made it clear across the store to the soda and stole about 5 2-liters and a bunch of chips and snacks. The entire staff just watched this happen too. Seemed par for the course. I have a lot of other stories about the rest of the staff from my group but this one requires the least amount of backstory. I had a customer treat me like a human being once. It was nice. Security caught a man coming in every other day to dip his dong in mayonnaise tub. I worked in the photo lab for 3 years. The horrors. One night a drunk chick dropped her pants and took a pee right outside our electronics department because the guy cleaning the bathroom wouldn't let her in. On a separate night a woman couldn't hold it and pooped the whole way to the bathroom from the front door. A code Adam was called, and the kid was found in the ball display and cap. He crawled in there and was having fun. My mom works at a Walmart down here in Miami. She's always telling me about the crazy crap she sees at work. They found a lot of goat heads sealed in buckets in the parking lot. They suspect it has something to do with Santeria. She once had a mentally handicapped employee crap in the drain in the bathroom. She had an employee pass out at work and never wake up. The guy just died on the spot. I was buying shoes at a Walmart and I heard someone yelling in the next aisle. I peek around the corner and there's a man holding a pair of rubber rain boots being yelled at by one of the employees. He suddenly drops the boots and threw his hands up in the air for some reason. And when the boots hit the floor, a bunch of yellow liquid came spilling out of one of them. The guy had been taking a pee in the rubber boots. I went to Payless and got me some shoes after that. I wasn't about to try on any more Walmart shoes. Joke's on you. I worked at Payless. People pee in the shoes all the time. A bunch. A guy shopping with long hair, dressed in a brown terry bathrobe, bunny slippers, the real thing. How do you even find these? Straw gardening hat, and sunglasses. Another employee was assisting him with shopping and reaching objects on shelves. People using the fitting rooms as a bathroom, or leaving feminine products inside. Yup, a woman went to try on a bra but bled all over it from an open wound on her side and we had to biohazard that crap. A girl puked on me. I got to go home early that day. In the grocery section, a pretty big, tall guy was grabbing onto the banana display, the kind that hangs from the ceiling on a 30-foot rope, and shot putting the bananas so far they swung out over the meat section, almost hit the deli sign. Then came swinging back and he caught it. He stopped when he saw me watching him. Kids throwing those pop-it fireworks everywhere while running through the store, freaking out the managers as they set some off in the chemicals and cleaners aisle. For one amazing second I thought you meant he was using individual bananas as boomerangs. That would just be impressive. I didn't see it, but there was a woman in a local Walmart that couldn't afford to buy the ingredients, so she began making them right in the store. I have no words. It was right before Christmas. I was working there as a temp for the seasonal rush. I had a lady come to my checkout line with 3 carts full of DVDs, CDs, candy, food, all kinds of small stuff. She was acting really weird and I could tell right away that she wasn't gonna be able to pay for all of it. She was obviously on something. I assumed M. So, I started ringing it up. Didn't want to make her feel like I knew she would pay. She was saying things like, "My son will like that one," and mentioned some other relatives. It was sad, actually. Anyhow, I ran it all through the checker and I was well over $3,000 when I finished the first cart. My shift manager came over and we asked her if she was serious about buying this all and she pretty much took off after that. Christmas, such a merry time, but not for all, especially at Walmart. One time, I was coming off break and passed 2 older men. They looked a little odd, but I only caught a glance at one of them at first, which caused me to stop and turn around. 2 men in what looked like their mid-50s with tanned skin wearing Bavarian barmaid dresses, complete with shoes and pigtails, were walking through the store shopping. I made eye contact for a moment, and I got the most serious look from one of them. They were acting like it wasn't unusual at all. To this day, I'm still not sure what was going on. There were no events in the area at that time where people would be dressed up. They were totally messing you. I can just imagine these 2 men sitting in a pub swapping Walmart stories then going, "Hey Mal, yeah, I swear by this pretty floral bonnet we could walk through Walmart in barmaid dresses and not get anyone ask us what's up. Yawn Mal." If I ever came to America, I would honestly go sightseeing to Walmart. My itinerary would be Disneyland, Walmart, White House. Go after midnight. I don't work at Walmart anymore, but I'll never forget this woman who frequented the store. Of all the weird people I saw, she had to be at the top. She wasn't from the US. Never figured out exactly where she was from. She was bat crap crazy. She was middle-aged and would be walking around in the dead of summer wearing a very heavy black coat, huge sunglasses, and huge over-the-ear headphones. If you asked her why she was wearing this, she would tell you that she didn't want to see or hear the hypocrisy going on in this country, or that she wanted to protect herself from the hate and intolerance in this country. As you can imagine, many people gawked at her. She stuck out like a sore thumb. She would flag one of us down and demand that we tell them to stop, and it would always begin in my culture. We don't stare at people, play music loudly, wear tight clothing. All things I've heard. We would tell her that we'd take care of it, and she'd just tottle off without another word. This would happen at least once a week. She seemed to always be in the store from the minute I got in to the minute I left. Quite an odd woman. I felt bad for her. The temperature dysregulation suggests schizophrenia. I used to work in the garden center of Walmart. There was an apartment complex on the other side of our fence. I noticed a guy standing by the fence on the outside, in the apartment complex. About 10 minutes later, another comes running from in the store, TV in hands, and chucks it over the 10-foot fence. His friend caught it and took off running into the complex. They earned that TV. My boyfriend works for Walmart. Yesterday he posted this brilliant status. Just saw a 13-year-old girl using the urinal at Walmart. So, yeah, that might be the strangest thing for him. Had a guy scream at the top of his lungs to my co-worker because he wasn't allowed to pick up a side-to-store order. His name wasn't on the package, and he freaked the frick out until a manager had to come and defuse the situation. Another co-worker of mine had to check the men's bathrooms for a drunk guy who pee everywhere and produce freaking gross, and passed out somewhere in the store. This isn't weird, but it's my biggest freaking pet peeve when parents let their kids lay down in the bottom shelf thing where you put water big things. I stay clear of them because the kid's head is sticking out of the bottom and I'm scared I'm going to kick them or something. Been an employee for roughly over a year, in the electronics department. I work in the deli. I once saw a woman on a motor scooter throw a rotisserie chicken at her husband because he had brought her the wrong item. It slid about 10 feet as the door greeted and I just stared at each other, lost. She drove off, leaving her husband behind. I have never seen a man look so broken down. Also, someone huffing those cans of keyboard duster in the bathroom, and someone asleep on the toilet, pants down and snoring. A trail of crap leading to the women's bathroom. We found it funny disturbing, but some woman was probably having the worst day of her life. I'm an overnight manager at a supercenter in a bad part of town. One night we're watching this guy stealing a flashlight from sporting goods on camera. We apprehend him, but after much searching we can't find what he did with the item. So after a while we have the guy sitting on a bench and he is kind of squirming around. Turns out he put the flashlight up his ass. Hazmat suits were needed. Man, if he needs a flashlight that bad he can keep it. Out of high school, I got a job at a local Walmart as a 29 aka cart pusher. Anyways, it was almost closing time and I ended up helping a customer take out some merchandise. Right behind the customer service desk exit doors was what appeared to be the top of a chocolate ice cream, swirl and all on the ground. I assumed it fell off someone's ice cream cone from McDonald's. I holler that I'll be right back to clean it up. I get back inside and notice this ice cream has not melted one bit. Curiosity got the best of me, so I decided to lean down and get a whiff of it just to confirm it was ice cream. It was not ice cream. Someone somehow managed to drop a turd right in plain view with an ice cream swirl shape. That was 10 years ago and it still blows my mind to this day. I thought you were going to say that you found another unmelted ice cream from Walmart. One time this woman saw some ice cream in one of our ads, and we didn't actually carry it because we aren't a supercenter. Needless to say, I almost got punched in the face. She couldn't fathom the idea of us not carrying this raspberry ice cream. She was talking like, what number? It's in your ad. Why? Where is it? It should be right here. After explaining in fine detail the reason we didn't carry it, she got right in my face and yelled at me at the top of her lungs. Her boyfriend just stood there and watched without emotion. She was most definitely cracked out on something. Also, just today an old woman crap in the freezer aisle and walked away. It smelled really bad. Okay, so is all of Walmart just a giant crazy person toilet? Yes. You have been visited by the money frog. He says frog money to get $200 on the street. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.